Welcome back, Math Monkeys. Today we're going to talk about place value and the place value that is in numbers that are represented by with a decimal included. There's a place value wrap, remember that we learned at the beginning of the year. And in the song it says we're going to take it to the right of the decimal point. We've got tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000ths. And remember that we talked about these words are special because they end in THS, which makes the sneaky snake sound. So TH means that we say at the end. So it's not tens, it's tenths. It's not hundreds, it's hundredths. So there's that sneaky hissing sound as a snake might make. First, we're going to start with what the chart that we learned how to do in class. Now, remember this decimal point here has a name. We don't call it decimal point when we're reading a number. We don't say point. We don't say decimal point. We say the word and. We're going to revisit today how to write a mixed number or a fraction and turn it into a decimal and how to read that number. First, let's talk about what goes in front of the decimal. In front of the decimal are whole numbers. Whole numbers consist of regular digits, such as if you had 2 candy bars and one of them was halfway eaten, then you would have one whole candy bar and a half of the other. This is represented by one whole, so one whole candy bar, and one half missing or one half left. This is called a mixed number. Again, mixed numbers are numbers with a whole number followed by a fraction. A fraction is a part of a whole. So here we need to label our chart. Everything to the left of the decimal is a whole number. In our chart, we're going to mark the numbers that are whole, that go in front of the decimal, with the letter W. W standing for a whole number. Then we're going to mark the other two columns as tenths and hundredths with the sneaky snake sound. And I'm going to mark them both in pink, but I'm going to mark this one as with the T and this one with hundreds or an H. So I mark the tenths place with the pink letter T and the hundredths place with an orange letter H, which I'm going to use the pink and the orange to highlight which part goes where when we get into a different number. I just wanted to use 1.5 as a reference to a mixed number so that when we get into this you can understand what I mean by mixed number. So let's start with a new mixed number. Let's say that we have 2 candy bars and one of those candy bars, well, both of the candy bars are cut into 100 small pieces. So we know that when we write our fractions, 100 pieces make a whole candy bar. So we're going to start with that first. So we have 100 pieces to make a whole candy bar. Now, one of those candy bars has every piece there. Nothing's missing. All of it's there. So we have one whole candy bar. Now let's say that your little brother or your little sister comes along and they have eaten, let's say, 25 pieces out of your 100 of the second candy bar that you have. So let's revisit that. You have 2 candy bars. One of them has not been touched. The other one, your little brother, your little sister, has eaten 25 little bitty pieces out of the 100 pieces that you have. So now we're going to talk about taking this mixed number, which has a whole number and a fraction, and we're going to put it on our sneaky snake chart to see what it looks like as a decimal. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to get my highlighter. Let's see. Okay, so I've highlighted the 1, which is our whole number, in blue. And okay, so I changed that. The orange represents 100. This is in the hundredths place. This is in the tenths place. So we're going to take our pen and we're going to take the whole. And the whole is 1. So we're going to write 1 right here. the decimal itself goes in between a standard written decimal, a mixed number that has been written in standard form in a regular way that we see numbers. So I'm going to I'm going to move a red dot right down here. So here's our decimal point that says and. Now I'm going to take this 25 that's sitting on top of the 100, and I'm going to write the 2 right here, and then I'm going to stop. And we're going to stop and talk about what this says. This 2, wherever the last digit stops, is we say this column. It's like their last name. So this is 1 and 2 tenths. But that's not what our mixed number says here. Our mixed number says 1 and 25 hundredths. So we need to put the other digit here. And now we're going to read it. Now the last digit that you see in the column, whatever column it is in, that's their last name. So we say 1 and 25 hundredths. Now let's try a different number. I'm going to keep 100 as our denominator since most of the numbers we deal with in 4th grade are represented by 100 as a denominator, especially when it's represented in a picture. But now we're going to say that we bought five candy bars. So we have 5 candy bars, and 4 of them are still in the wrapper. So 4 whole candy bars. Nothing's been done with them. Nobody has opened them. Nobody has eaten them, but we know that they're cut into 100 pieces. All 5 of the candy bars are cut into 100 pieces. We know 4 have not been touched. Let's say that we decided we wanted to eat 50 of our candy bar pieces. Well, that's half. So let's do 50. 50 out of 100 that we ate. Now we're going to look at this mixed number, and we're going to take this whole number and we're going to put it right here. Well, the whole number is 4. Put our decimal. And this is 50 out of 100. So we're going to write 50. Now if I stopped at 5 and I just left the 5 there, that would be 4 and 5 since it's in this column. Tenths would be their last name. But that's not what we have here. We have a 0 here also. So we're going to go ahead and put that 0 there. Now it's 4 and 50 hundredths. Now the next one I want to try is a tricky one, which is one that usually stumps you. Remember, there are a couple that are tricky. Even though we're dealing with the sneaky snakes chart, there are some mixed numbers that trick us when we have to write them in standard form using a decimal. So let's look at a number that's going to be a little tricky. Okay, let's say that we have 3 holes. So we're going to start with the number 3 holes. And then we have 6 out of 100 pieces left. So we have 3 and 6 hundredths. Now if you notice, I put the 6 above the 100. That's represented by 100 pictures. If we had a square and they were cut into 100 pieces and 6 of them were still there. The box that's empty is the tenths box, which over here is going to confuse us. This is where we get confused, is when we take numbers that are in a single digit numerator over 100 as the denominator. Okay, so it's still read as 3 and 6 hundredths. So I'm going to write 3 in the whole number because that is my whole number, 3. Can't forget the decimal. It says and 6. Now, his last name is hundredths. So the 6 is the only digit up here. It has to go in the hundredths column. Now there's a space here. There cannot be a space in a number just left open that way. We have to have something there, that placeholder, that seat saver, which is the 0, the mighty hero 0. So we're going to put a 0 here. Now that's how we read that. And we're going to read that from left to right. 3 and 6, it's in the hundredths column, so we're going to say hundredths, 3 and 6 hundredths. Now real quickly we're going to try some that have a denominator of 10. Okay, since we're going to work with numbers that have a denominator of 10, our boxes here need to change colors, and we only need pink. So I'm going to change these 2 boxes to pink. If you notice, I also took one of the boxes away. The reason for that is if we're just dealing with 10 pieces, you cannot have more than 10. Well, 10 is a two-digit number. Anything less than 10 is a single-digit number. So let's say that we have two candy bars sitting in front of us, and they are both cut into 10 pieces. The first one's cut into 10 pieces, and the second one is cut into 10 pieces. So our denominator, which is the whole, is going to be into the number 10. So I'm going to write 10 in this box. Now, again, we have two candy bars. They are both cut into 10 pieces. We have to have 10 pieces to make a whole. So we have one of those candy bars at all the pieces. All 10 pieces are there. Let's say the other candy bar, we've eaten all of them but 3. So we have 3 left. So we have 3 out of 10. 1 and 3/10 is left. Let's write that as a decimal. So we have the whole number, which goes here, 1 and 3/10. Now I said his last name. His last name that you're hearing is the 10th place. So we're going to put the 3 in the 10th place. We wouldn't put the 3 in the hundreds place because this is not represented with the number 100. So this is 1 and 3/10. 1 and 3/10. Let's try one more. Okay, this time we're going to say that we have 6 candy bars. All 6 of those candy bars, each candy bar is cut into 10 pieces. So we have one candy bar is 10 pieces, the second candy bar is 10 pieces, so on and so forth. So our denominator is going to be 10. Now, out of those 6, we have 5 still in the package. So we're going to have 5 whole. And that 6th one, we've already ate some of it also. So I'm going to say that we have eaten 2 pieces, which means we have 8 left. So we read this mixed number as 5 and 8/10. So now we're going to take this mixed number and we're going to turn it into a standard decimal number. We have 5 wholes, so we're going to squeeze it down here on our chart. We have a decimal point, and this says 8/10. Well, its last name is tenths, so that means that number is going to go in the tenths column. Ooh, that's a squiggly little 8. Looks a little snaky. We wouldn't say 5 and 800ths because we don't have an 8 over here in the hundreds column. That last part that you speak is their last name. That's what the last number that you say, like 25 hundredths, 50 hundredths, 6 hundredths. This is what we say is their last name. This is all for the place value with mixed numbers, turning them into standard decimal form. I will be back with the next one. We're going to talk about taking a mixed number and writing it in both as standard decimal form and as in word form. But until then, happy math, and I'll see you and talk to you later.